L. Ron Hubbard, the founder and creator of Scientology, once said, "If you want to get rich, start a religion." And I think the same can be said for multi-level marketing companies. If you want to get rich in this economy, start an MLM company. Find a cheap product, mark up the price significantly, and then con a bunch of unsuspecting people into believing that they're going to own their own tiny business within your business, but only if they pay a monthly subscription and purchase product. Earlier this week, we talked about how MLMs are basically commercial cults. And in today's video, I want to flip that idea on its head and explore how cults use the multi-level marketing business model to stay afloat, get money, keep people involved in the cult, and manipulate their followers. So take a nice deep breath because it is time to let the fresh Erin. Hey everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're brand new. My name is Erin, and I am fascinated by all things cult, true crime, and unique spiritual practices. If you're interested in content like this, I would love to have you subscribed and have you here. I try to post a couple videos a week on one of these topics, and I just have to say, after kind of going back down this NXIVM rabbit hole, because Keith Raniere loved the MLM business model. I mean, he loved it. I learned some new information about a new marketing company, or I guess semi-new marketing company, that's starting to get called out because its founders were a part of NXIVM. And it is just blowing my mind. So definitely stay tuned and subscribe if you're interested in that. So, like I said in my intro, today I want to cover how cults use the MLM business structure to keep people in the cult, keep making money, and manipulate their followers' time and energy. Now, in order to make this point, I am going to share some data from two different cults. We're going to be talking about NXIVM and the Executive Success Program, and that's kind of what got people into the cult itself. And we're also going to be discussing Twin Flames Universe and how they seem to utilize the MLM business structure. I personally have seen Jeff respond to comments in the forum saying that he loves the MLM business model and he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. And it's like, well, that's because you are directly benefiting from utilizing the MLM business structure. So, earlier this week, we discussed how multi level marketing companies are essentially like small little cults. And the only thing that's separating an MLM from a pyramid scheme is that they offer some kind of product. This seems to be a loophole that a lot of MLM companies use, in my opinion, to actually have like a legal pyramid scheme because they just have some kind of product. The products are usually touted as a cure all, they're some type of magic formula that's going to cure you of whatever ailment you might have or every ailment known to man, help your mind, help your hair, help your body. But really, it's probably a low quality product that's just been repackaged with something fancy, and then they escalate the price so that they can pay out their distributors. So, today I wanted to look at those similarities because if you look at cults like the Twin Flames Universe and NXIVM, there is this coaching element to it. Now, typically, if you were to want to become a personal training coach or even a life coach, you might have to take a certification and invest money to get that certification in order to start getting clients. But then those clients would pay you, and you wouldn't have to continue paying another entity. You would get to gain all of that profit yourself, and you would essentially be able to own your own business and create your own LLC. However, within the structure of these cults, much like MLMs, these coaches are not paid at all for their time, even though they're trying to attract clients to the group, whether it's the MLM, the cults, or the coaching program. See, what's really common with MLMs and cults when you try to get to that coaching level or that partnership level is you have to continuously pay into the scheme, meaning either monthly you have some type of base level pay that's required in order to call yourself a coach, or there's a continuing education element required. So, as you're a coach, you have to constantly be paying for other coachings and be involved directly with the entire ecosystem of the cult. Now, I want to break this down with some visuals so you can see exactly what I mean. I want to start off by exploring an income disclosure statement from an MLM known as Monate. Monate is a hair care MLM. A few years ago, they were sued because people's hair was literally falling out when they were using the product. And Monate, I believe, settled that case, which means they just paid off the complaints and just kind of hoped it would all be swept under the rug. I think now they're also expanding to makeup with very limited shades that are not very inclusive, to say the least. However, they are still operating as an MLM. So we're going to take a look at their income disclosure statement. Now, this income disclosure statement is from 2022. I don't believe the 2023 income disclosure statement will be released until March to May of this year. So, this is the most up to date income disclosure statement that we do have from this particular company. Now, you will see all of the ranks, and we're going to use the numbers from the median annual income rather than the average. The median is going to represent a more accurate depiction of what most people are making across the board. So let's take a look now. So here you have Monate's 2022 income disclosure statement. Now, this states right up front that the average annual income for all US market partners at all ranks, which includes both active and inactive members, which means you basically had to kind of drop out because you weren't paying or purchasing that least amount required in order to remain active. If you're curious about what some of this means, I'll go ahead and link my video from earlier this week here. So, the average annual income for the entire company, whether you're active or inactive, was $865 for the year. So let's use the example from last video. Let's say that it's required to spend at least $100 on product or sell $100 of product every month. You're already in the negative. You spent $1,200, you only made $865. So you're already in the negative, but it's difficult for people to recognize that if they're not keeping tabs on their income itself because they're getting a paycheck. And when they get a paycheck, it sounds really exciting and they get paychecks pretty frequently. So that's like, yes, it's so exciting for people. But if they don't keep track of what they're pouring into their business, plus what they're going to owe for taxes, they're really going to end up making little to no money. And in most cases, be in the red. So, on average, everyone who's active in the company made negative money. They're in the hole. Here we're going to explore what each rank made. And don't worry, I'm not going to exhaust you by going through every single rank and their income, but I just want to make a point as we move towards the cult side of things. Just like cults, MLMs have different ranks. And typically, this rank is like a medal of honor among everyone in the organization. And it's basically the higher you move up the rank, the more money you're making and the more success slash respect you have within the MLM itself. It's kind of like this way for the MLMs to make people feel more valuable and give people goals. Oh, well, if you get to this next rank, you'll make this amount of money. If you get to this rank, you'll get this amount of money and you'll get to speak at our convention. And if you get to this amount of money, you get to be in this club. It's a lot like the stripe path we see in NXIVM, where as you take different programs, you get a different color sash. So anyone in the group can look at you wearing your sash and they'll know exactly what your standing within the cult is. And those colors of those sashes come with unspoken levels of respect. So this plays this like quiet mind game with people in the cult. So it serves multiple purposes. People within the cult or MLM are paying into the organization as a whole. They're buying product or they're paying for coachings. And it's creating this mind game, this feeling of, I'm not enough yet. I'll be good enough when I get to this place. And then you get there and think, well, I'll be good enough when I get to this place. And you start seeing that the people who are in the inner circle, who are more directly connected to the leader of the group, your upline, your upline's upline, your upline's upline, the people in that inner circle are the people who are the most successful on the path. We also see this in Scientology because they want to clear the planet, but the only way to clear the planet of negative entities is to clear the negative entities within yourself. And in order to do that, you have to attend these audits, take more training, essentially continue paying Scientology to make you a better person. And the more you donate, the more audits that you do, the higher up this ladder of clearing the planet you become, the more inner secrets you discover, and the more money you have spent into the scheme, which is why Ron Hubbard made that quote at the beginning of this video. He knew that a religion was not going to be taxed. So if you could con people into paying into your belief system over and over and over again, you were going to be rich. And so a lot of cults, they operate with this MLM structure because it's going to seem like there's something that's just out of reach if someone buys into the belief or takes the course. And it's going to mean that in order to attain that new level of spiritual success and adoration and respect, they're going to pay money into the scheme. So like we can see at this very first basic rank in Monate of market partner, 91% of people became market partners in 2022, and the median gross income for the entire year. This means what most people of the 91% of all of the members of Monate, all of the Huns who are buying into the scheme, annually, they only made 34%. That is not including the necessary monthly payment they have to make. It's not including any additional fees like website fees. It's not including taxes, and it's not including any trips that they've incentivized people to attend. And that's a whole other issue we could get into with MLMs. I'll go ahead and link some of my favorite anti-MLM channels in the description below so you can take a look for yourself, because I really want to focus this video on the cult aspect of this. So we're seeing a theme here. We're seeing these different ranks. Each rank means something else. Each rank gives you some level of respect. It feels successful. You also start to get a little of a higher status within the group, whether it's an MLM or a cult. So now let's explore NXIVM's Stripe path, because this is a very clear example of the MLM business structure being utilized by a cult. NXIVM has always been sensationalized as a sex cult. And as accurate as that description might be, it also takes attention away from some of the really dangerous aspects of the cult, which are, how did people get involved in something like this? Because people don't just go join a sex cult. They join something that they believe is a great opportunity to grow, something that resonates with them spiritually. People typically aren't seeking out a cult to join, you know what I mean? So in case you're not fully aware of NXIVM and you haven't seen The Vow, Seduced, or the plethora of other media about this, I just wanted to describe a little bit more about what NXIVM was. Because within NXIVM, just like within Twin Flames universe, just like within Scientology, there were several different little subsets of organizations. Each of these little mini organizations within the group all serve their own purpose and kind of their own demographic to get people to stay in the group. Now, what exactly drew people to NXIVM itself? Well, typically it was something called Executive Success Programs, which was an intensive that Nancy Salzman, one of the highest ups in NXIVM, conducted. It was basically a self help workshop that was meant to bring you more success in your life and in whatever business venture you were in. So it appealed to a lot of people, especially those people who have careers where there's a lot that you can't control. And as an actor myself, when I heard about what NXIVM was and how people got into it, I was like, I would have been hook, line, and sunk immediately into this group. It was actually the cult that made me super interested in the psychology behind cults. Because I'll be honest, sometimes I've been like, nah, I would never fall for a cult, whatever. But when I learned about NXIVM, because of what it offered in the Executive Success Program, I was like, I absolutely would have been into this because it was all about self development, and I am all about becoming the best version of myself. So, I'm just going to read a brief breakdown of what exactly Executive Success Programs was. It's a series of high intensity, high demand workshops that are designed to actualize human potential. In a selection of promotional materials from 2001 entitled ESP, it says that our school designed to change the way people think, make decisions, react, and perform in various areas of life. All of ESP's programs are designed to help individuals develop the emotional and intellectual skills necessary to reach their maximum potential in all areas of life. Rational inquiry, which plot twist is a lot like the mirror exercise. It's basically when you present an issue that you have, and your coach or leader will ask you a bunch of questions rationally to help you get to the conclusion that your pain point, your concern, whatever's making you uncomfortable, your trigger is actually your fault. It's not what the cult leader is asking you to do. It's not what the coach is asking you to do. It's all your fault. But they title it rational inquiry because it's going to make you feel like you're doing something rational, right? Rational inquiry is a science based off of the belief that the more consistent a person is in their thinking, the more successful the individual will be. So it's basically this self indoctrination, breaking down your intuition until it is absolutely quiet, getting your gut to shut up or get you to not even trust your gut anymore. So this is essentially what they're selling. This and it sounds really great from the outside, like, "Oh my gosh, I can reprogram everything that is causing me doubt in my life and transfer that energy so that I only believe in myself, that I only use rational inquiry, and if I can change my mindset and not be doubtful, not be anxious, not be worried, I'll be so confident, I'll be able to achieve all of my dreams." So that's basically what they're selling, right? It's like the product, so to speak. So, an ESP training, Executive Success Program, is offered through something called intensives, and they each last different days. There's a 3 day, a 5 day, or a 16 day. 16 day. That's pretty aggressive for a workshop, but it's pretty intense for an intensive. So the 3 day intensive is $1,200. And once you've done that and you feel good about that, you might want to move to the 5 day intensive, which is going to cost $2,700. And then if you want to move up to the 16-day intensive, you're going to spend $7,500. And typically, as you move up the stripe path, that means that you've been doing multiple intensives. You've taken multiple coaching sessions. You are involved in these workshops. So let's break down what that might look like. In NXIVM, student is the lowest rank, and they're going to be wearing white sashes. Anyone who pays for this course gets a white sash, and it's going to just cost you $1,200 if you do that 3 day intensive. Now, the next rank is going to be that yellow sash. It's going to be about $25,000. I mean, you've done the 3-day, the 5-day, and the 16-day at this point. Now, if you are a white or a yellow sash, you are just paying into the cult. But there's that feeling of rank and almost authority and respect that you get as you get more and more sashes. Plus, if you're an artist, you might be looking for another means of income, but you can't get any income until you have an orange sash, which means you will have spent at least $100,000 in cash and services. So I believe this means you've not only taken courses at this point, but you have also started recruiting other people into ESP or NXIVM. So when you're an orange sash, you finally get to start making money. Yay, it's all paying off, right? It's like you go to college and then you leave college after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and you get to start paying that debt off, right? Because you're going to get money making this your career, right? Wrong, because the average income for being an orange sash is around $35,000 pre-tax. And this is after you have spent or recruited $100,000 worth of taking classes or recruiting people in to take classes. I mean, just like an MLM, you're still essentially losing money, but being expected to devote a ton of your time into coachings, trainings, learning to coach, recruiting. I mean, it becomes a full-time job and now you're only making $35,000, which, if you're not considering how much debt you might have gotten into to just buy into the cult, you might think, oh, I'm earning a salary. I have a job. I'm making money. But you're not considering your taxes and having to pay off all that debt. It operates just like an MLM. So maybe you want to move further up the stripe path and you get to become a proctor and get to wear a green sash. You make $90,000 a year. Guess how much you've either paid NXIVM to get this sash and earn this salary or recruited people? $1 million worth of courses. 1 million. So that's not exactly getting a great return. And sure, you could argue that like over time, over years, if you've made most of that, not from donations, not from purchasing courses, if you've made most of that from recruiting, that's great, but you're still not getting paid for the time that you're actually spending recruiting people, being in courses. Maybe you've taken on a marketing role within the cult. Maybe you've become a personal assistant to Keith. You're not getting paid for any of these additional little odd jobs that you are most likely doing because you just want to be in good standing with the group. And I believe this is the highest rank you can attain within NXIVM unless you are a massive donator like the I don't know why I can't say their last name, Bronfman sisters, who donated hundreds of millions of dollars, or Nancy Salzman herself, who helped create this form of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. Let me know if you'd like me to look deeper into this, because I am definitely someone that's like, NLP, yes, like reprogram my mind to only believe in myself and see the positives. But it's used by so many cults to indoctrinate their members and their followers that I like can't get behind it. But I also do believe that mindset is important whenever you're doing anything. There has to be a part of you that's, like the young folks say, delulu, and just have this like unbreakable belief in yourself. But let me know if you'd want a video that like talks a little bit more about NLP, because I think it's like so romanticized as being this like incredible thing, but it can be used for something more sinister. And I might be incorrect in saying this, but it is my understanding that the IP of executive success programs, so the programming of people's brains where they stopped being able to utilize their intuition and trust their gut, and this is why it was so difficult for people to get out, and it's why people said yes to being branded. the United States government now owns all of that IP to do with whatever they want. So, on one hand, I'm like, this must work and it must be very valuable. And the fact that a government body owns all rights to it and can use it willy nilly however they want is concerning to me. So, let's talk a little bit about the Twin Flames universe side of things because I don't know a ton about what the coaching side of the business looks like, but based off the conversations I've had with multiple people who used to be in the group and interviews that you can find here on this channel, they didn't make money from their actual coaching clients. It's not like they went to school to become a counselor and now they can just charge people an hourly rate for talk therapy. No, they only got paid for recruiting people into life purpose courses within Twin Flames universe. So they're spending all of this time coaching people, coaching each other, taking on other odd jobs like they do in cults, being a marketing manager, being on the meme squad, trying to trying to be a part of outreach for the group, but they're not getting any money for the work and the time that they are actually spending. So I wouldn't be surprised if Twin Flames Universe, the cult, like Jeff and Shalia, got a cut or a percentage of those little offshoot couples channels if they start making money on YouTube, because no one who is coaching with Twin Flames Universe is making money from coaching. They're making money from recruiting others to take coaching, which is exactly what the MLM business structure entails. That's the definition of an MLM structure. So you might be wondering, okay, I get it. They use an MLM business structure, but like, why? Well, it's the same reason that an MLM company uses the MLM business structure because they can simultaneously save money, not pay out their employees, and have a guaranteed monthly income. Because every follower who wants to become a coach in all of these cults, whether it's NXIVM, whether it's Twin Flames Universe, whether it's Scientology, whether it's an MLM, if you want to work your way up those ranks and start making a little bit of money, you have to constantly be paying into the system. If you're in Twin Flames Universe or you're in NXIVM or you're in Scientology, you have to constantly be taking coaching programs and you have to constantly be recruiting others to take those coaching programs. It's almost like continuing education if you are in a field where the technology is constantly changing. And so maybe every year you have to take some kind of class in order to understand this new updated technology. The best example I can think of is the medical industry, right? There's constantly changes. If you work in the operating room, you want to know about all the new tech that's going to make your job easier, and you don't want to get stumped when you're working on someone in the OR. So you're going to go and take this continuing education course, and you're going to be better at your job. It's only going to serve you. But within the MLM structure, it is required to take these, in my opinion, BS coachings month after month after month after month. And that is exactly what the MLM does. And this also makes it so that you stay within the cult longer. Because if you now have devoted not just your time, your energy, and your finances to this group, but you're also dependent on the group because it offers you some kind of income, you're bound to stay longer because you might not have another career. You might have cast your career away so that you could focus on this cult, which in your eyes has given you a ton of purpose. So it only serves the cult leader to charge monthly or charge for coaching after coaching after coaching, make you feel like the cause of the cult, the mission of the cult is so much bigger than you that just being called a coach or moving up the stripe path or clearing the earth is such a big, important deal that you're happy to devote your time unpaid because you have such a deep sense of purpose. And then if you can keep recruiting people into the group, then wow, you're making a small amount of income from that, but that can easily lead you to becoming the perpetrator. So suddenly, because money is getting involved, you're incentivized to keep people in the cult and not bring up any red flags if and when you do begin to see them. Wow, that was a lot. And I just feel like it's so important to discuss cults that have this MLM business structure within them because it's almost a little more sinister than the other cults that we discuss sometimes. They're all inherently insidious and dangerous, and we need to talk about all of them, which is why I have this channel. But the ones where they demand any type of percentage of your income or demand that you devote a lot of unpaid time for barely a commission, especially if you do start climbing up the ranks and making income from the group itself, it makes it even more difficult to leave because you're financially invested. It could be the only income that you end up having. And it's hard enough to leave a cult if you don't have any monetary investment. But to leave a cult where it has also become your full time job, that makes it even more difficult to leave, and it makes it more dangerous because you're going to be more loyal to the group because you're financially dependent on it. And since I think most of us who watch this channel are probably in some kind of capitalistic society, it's really, really difficult to just leave your job, whether or not it is attached to a cult. So I hope all of that makes sense. If you have additional examples or additional information, please leave it in the comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love trying to be an example of taking accountability. In my last video, I did say Lululemon instead of LuLaRoe, and I am still like angry at myself for that mistake. So apologies. I mean, to be fair, Lululemon isn't the most ethical company either, in my opinion. Plus, their sizes really make you feel bad about yourself because they seem to always be like 4 sizes bigger than what you wear in every other brand. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you all so much for your support. I am really excited about next week's videos. I am covering some fresh topics. I am bringing to light this NXIVM adjacent culty marketing company that learning about it has just blown my mind. I also want to cover some polygamist organizations that have come to light recently and discuss all of that stuff. I have International House of Prayer on the docket. I have several other cults. I love hearing from you guys and hearing what your suggestions are. So please feel free to leave them down below or email me. I really appreciate your time and I hope you have just the best rest of your day. Remember to take care of yourselves, be safe, and listen to that inner instinct. It's always that voice that we want to quiet that we should be letting be the loudest, you know? So listen to your gut, trust your intuition, and always ask questions. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.